Hey. So the first week is done. And wow. That's the best way to explain it. Wow. That happened quickly. Not that the days went by fast, the amount of information that they presented us with and that we had to absorb and use immediately. Whoa. We learned about variables. First off, we started with C#. The way that this boot camp is set up, we're going to start with the back end, then move into databases, then move to the front end. So we started with C#, which is something I've been looking at. I actually got some pretty good resources if anybody needs. But wow. If you ever studied software development on your own, you're going to learn some of the basics, some of the how to claim variables, for loops. I was comfortable with that, but just the rate into which he was distributing information, it was a lot, which freaked me out a little bit because I was like, holy crap, normally I catch things, I could catch on the things extremely quick. We're learning about links, man. And then at the end of the week, the way that our days are set up, we come in, we'll have a lecture for an hour. We'll take a break for about 15 minutes, come back for a second hour of lecture, and then we'll have lab time, to work on what we talked about that day. So you almost you have to consume the information and apply the information all within a 3 or 4 hour period. And on the end of the week, he give you these homework assignments that typically is designed to last for the whole weekend. This week we had to work on what was called a blackjack app. The whole idea of this app is done in VS Code in our PowerShell window, and we program an app as to where when given certain commands, specific commands come back, and we have to simulate the computer dealing a deck of cards, shuffling a deck of cards, being able to draw cards, add up the card amount, when it gets to 21, determines if you're the winner or the computer is the winner. Did I tell you this is week 1 and we had to do that? Wow, that's all I have to say. The sheer look of panic on everybody's face made me feel comfortable, because that was my old crap moment. Like, did I get in over my head? Wow. And we do have teachers assistants here, and they're great. I believe that, this is just my opinion, depending on where you're at coming in. At one point I felt like, because, they're probably so comfortable with it, they speak as if I'm like on their level. And at one point somebody was trying to explain to me how to use I, and I'm like, what the hell is the letter I? I know it's a variable, but that's something we didn't learn about. But because of his knowledge, that was like simplistic information for him. But once I explained it, he was like, oh, and it was because of that same specific person, I was able to get the project and really understand it. There is no better sense of accomplishment, even though it might be something as small as making a certain number show up. You feel like you conquered the world, but man, the rate at which they're teaching is it's a lot. It's a lot. Before class, they used the analogy that, going to this boot camp was like trying to drink from a fire hose. As a former firefighter myself, that's about as accurate as a description as you could get, because that's what it's like. And you had to take a step back. I've already planned on every day I'm going to, even though class get out 5 or 6, I know I'm going to stay till about 9 or 10 every day, because I've set that up. My children and my support structure back home, they're aware that Most people might have a 7 to 8 day here, 7 to 8 day hours a day here. I'm going to be here damn near 11, 12, 13, 14 hours because I'm just that serious and I'm that dedicated. And failure is not an option for me. If you notice, I'm in a different location today. This is the main classroom. Normally we sit over there. My desk is a little messy because, I panicked. This guy doggone blackjack out, kicked my behind. Like I said, it's a hybrid class. Normally this is where I'm sitting at. It's probably where the teacher would stand, but we have a huge overhead projector that comes down, and it's a live video from the teacher from his home, being that he doesn't feel safe coming in during a pandemic, and I absolutely get that, and the other students as well. But wow, this first week, if every week is going to be like that, I could see why they gave us all of the warnings on the first day. You have to be ready. Lord knows you have to be ready for this. And I like to think that I was ready. I feel more comfortable on the front end. I feel more comfortable with HTML. I feel more comfortable with CSS. I say that with the upward inflection because I know I still need to work on CSS and stuff like Bootstrap. I'm looking forward to learning about React. All of these are front-end technologies and front-end frameworks and libraries that I'm really intrigued in. The back-end logic, I knew that I would be learning that here, but I wasn't as excited to learn the back end as I was the front end because, of course, they tell you that the front end, there's a lower barrier of entry. And our goal right now is let me try to get a job. And I'm going to try to go with the lower barrier of entry. I'm consistently trying to learn new things on my free time, but I don't know how much that can continue with the class taking so much focus. I don't want to try to do any extracurricular stuff and fall behind during the classwork because it would be really easy to fall behind. And if you haven't grown up doing this, as to where the guy who sits behind me, he has a IT background, so he was sort of familiar with some of this. But the guy who sits across from me, he's a music producer from Long Beach, California, who has no computer experience at all. And the sheer utter look of on his face, I almost had to walk over there and give him a hug because it was rough. Or I'm just stupid, who knows? But yeah, that was my first week. I'm hoping my second week it goes a bit different. Or I get in the stride of things, but just the sheer pace is a wild moment. So, you have any questions? Like I said, Twitter, Code Dread. That's where I got the name. Instagram, same thing, Code Dread. I'll link it at the bottom. And I'll be looking forward to hearing from you guys. If you have any questions, hit me up. Code Dread out.